So we have a dirty car. I'm challenging Yvan Lacroix with a $50 Canadian or 36 USD budget to buy chemicals to wash this, everything you need. Can you do it? So I'm Pan.
I'm Yvan.
And welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. So as I said, I'm here with my buddy Yvan Lacroix from DIY Detail. How are you?
Great, yourself.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show. We always make magic together, and today's something very different. We're at a store here in Montreal called Canadian Tire. So for all the American viewers or people around the world, see it as if it's kind of an O'Reilly mixed with a Walmart together if they had a baby. This is the kind of store it's in.
Yeah.
So access to a bunch of cool chemicals and all the stuff needed to wash your car. Now, Yvan said he has a plan. I don't know what that is, so you're going to have to stay tuned. He has not shared that with me. He says we're going to have a chuckle, so I don't know what he has in his mind. Now I'm starting to understand your plan. Oh, yeah, okay. But we have to clean this car that hasn't been washed in months. So yeah, without further ado, let's dig right into it. Let's start the show. This is one of the big ones. So selection is infinite. So again, I'll be curious to see what Yvan selects. By the way, don't worry guys, we'll include the links to all this stuff in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. Just want you to sit back, relax, enjoy the show. So Yvan, the store is yours. What do you want to check out and buy?
So I'm not sure he'll want to include the links, but anyways, no, let's take a look at what we have. So
he hasn't told me his plan, by the way, yet.
So we have some brands that we recognize. We have OxyClean. Simon Eyes is one that you guys don't have in the States. That's actually the house brand here.
Yes.
Right? We have Mr. Cartoon, Scotchgard, Mothers, Armor All, Adams, Chemical Guys, Sonax.
Turtle Wax.
Yeah, so a very good, broad selection of detailing chemicals.
Yes.
And the prices in Canada are a little higher than in the US. So
yeah,
I'm going to be going old school. Okay. Back to when I started cleaning cars.
So we don't have access to none of Clean by Pan the Organizer and no DIY Detail.
There are some good products. We have Stoner's Invisible Glass. Silver Wax is a local brand as well in Quebec that has taken off recently. So they have some fairly good products. But yeah, so for those of you that are used to the AutoZone, O'Reilly's, they'll have like from here to the end.
Yep.
Whereas here we have a whole length.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of the aisle, we have accessories. Yes. We have microfiber towels, we have wash mitts, a plethora of wash mitts, all sorts of fun stuff.
Sponges, buckets.
Yep. So I do need some form of wash media. I remember that in your challenge with Eddie.
Yes.
You had to provide the wash media.
And the chemicals, and I provide the buckets, the pressure washer, foam cannon, whatever you need as far as tools.
So they just happen to be on sale this week. So $7.79, so we'll say $8. Yep. Now I don't see the wash mitt I was looking for. Here it is. Here it is. You probably never even used one of these. No. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go with this.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How much is that?
It's $5.49.
Okay. That's good.
So 8 plus 6, we're up to $14 so far.
Yep.
Yeah. Now looking at the chemicals, there's nothing here that I'll be able to reach that $50 level.
Okay.
But I still need to wash, and I still need to seal the car.
And tire shine.
So let's go to another part of the store. Like I said, this is a Walmart mixed with an O'Reilly's. Let's go to the Walmart part of it.
Okay.
Come with me.
So you're not getting any of these?
No. So up there we have a sign that says nettoyage and or cleaning.
Okay.
That's where we're going.
Okay.
No controversy. Old school. Okay.
This is the cleaning products aisle.
Yeah. So what is the least expensive dish soap they've got?
Oh no, are you serious?
Yep. Well, in the automotive world, we like orange.
Well, at least he's going for, is there a fragrance in this? Essential Clean.
Well, orange tangerine.
Okay, so a little more citrusy.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So that's $3.99.
Yeah.
So you're way under budget at this point.
Well, remember I still have my $14 worth of detailing products.
That's right.
So now we're close to $20. Yes. But when I started detailing or washing cars, dish soap is what we had. Yeah. We didn't have specialized soaps. There were some, but they were very hard to get. And there was mail order and involved and all sorts of things. You'd send a check and so anyways, we used soap and it worked. The cars were clean.
That's right.
So, But we had the good wool wash mitts though.
Yes.
Yeah, gotta have the wash mitts.
Yep.
Now I just saw it over here. We're gonna have to turn around again.
Okay.
And you'll notice the size of this aisle is about the same length as the automotive aisle.
What?
Yes.
That's like they use in certain car shows. I remember some guys at the Montreal car show, I would say, like, this is super slick, but at the same time, it feels kind of weird. And they say, yeah, we just use pledge on the vehicles.
So used car special, pledge, it fills. Yeah. And we'll have we'll keep with the citrus fragrance. So we're going from orange and tangerine to lemon. Yeah.
Okay.
Now we still need a tire shine.
Okay.
The tire shine is by the cash registers.
I have a feeling now I'm starting to understand your plan. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Off we go. A staple of car shows for decades.
A tire shine?
Yes.
Come on.
No?
Coke?
Yeah. Oh, that's a Coke Zero though. Do they have regular Coke?
You need a real Coke?
They don't have any. We're gonna have to try Coke Zero. We'll see if it works.
Coca-Cola?
Yes.
A tire shine?
It's worked for decades.
I've never heard of that even.
No? Okay. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Coke has a pH lower than most tire cleaners or wheel acids, but we're not using this to clean the tire. We're gonna use the soap for that, but this is our tire dressing. Off we go. Now you can also use just sugar water, but I didn't want to go that far.
Okay, we're well below. So 31.78 Canadian, that's $23.14 with today's exchange rate in USD. That's pretty good. This is crazy. I don't know. Oh, the comments are going to be absolutely amazing on this video. So guys, we're back in my garage. Now is the time to do the work.
Yeah.
So we're going to prep the chemicals. There's not many here. I don't know what he has in mind. So Ivan, you wanted a foam cannon. We got the pressure washer. We got a bucket ready to go.
Right.
So what's your master plan?
So first of all, we're going old school, except for one thing.
Gloves. Yes.
Yeah. Even though it's a dish soap and technically you wash your dishes with bare hands, still
good practices.
Yeah. From there, the foam cannon. Now, I notice you put a lot of water in it.
Yeah, 900 mils as I normally would, and then you add soap, right?
Yeah. No.
No?
This is not going to foam like a good automotive soap.
Okay.
Trust me. Let me go dump out a bit of this.
So, by the way, just as a reminder, we have the Palmolive dishwashing liquid. We have the Pledge. And we also have a Coke Zero. We're going to see if that works.
Yeah. We have some microfibers.
Yep.
And we'll get these out.
And the wash mitt. So a synthetic microfiber wash mitt.
So they're edgeless, which is nice. They're color coded. We have 4 colors. That's nice. And let's see if they state what it is. Pan and I are used to high quality microfibers from the House of Rags or from DIY Detail. 8713.
Oh, that's a blend I've never heard of before.
Yeah, that's about as low as you can go. They're 230 GSM for those that are asking. So we will check that out.
Okay.
We have our wash mitt, which is old school to the max.
It says here, synthetic microfiber ideal for washing and dusting.
And dusting, yeah. And if you feel it on your skin, it's like sandpaper. Now, this, when it gets wet, though, won't be this rough. So feel how rough it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll let it
we'll see if it does any marring on the surface.
Yeah, we'll let it do its thing in the wash bucket, get nice and wet. So I put out a bit of the water because, I know
that 500 mils of water left there.
Yeah.
And we're squirting quite a bit. This is either going to be a total disaster or it's actually going to do its thing. Of course, back in the day, even when I started, I remember my dad, when I got my first car, I was 16 years old, right? So he's like, here's a dishwashing liquid, a bucket, and an old sponge. That's how we wash cars. So immediately my mind went to like, that doesn't make any sense, right? My mom uses that in the kitchen to clean the dishes, but it did work, like it cleans.
Yeah. So it will clean. How it's going to foam, I'm not sure. And, foam cannons came into existence in the automotive world in the mid-90s. So when I started cleaning cars, they weren't even a thought.
Yeah, so we're using the Quiver foam cannon.
Yeah, thanks to our friend Josh.
Absolutely, great stuff.
Now, we're going to be doing a foam rinse foam, which isn't something we used to do in the past, but hey, we have these techniques available to us now. We've done the research. It's the safest way of doing it.
Yes.
There's a lot of encrusted bugs on the front of this. Not sure they're all going to come off. We have a nice scratch along the bumper there.
Yeah.
All sorts of things going on. But we will get the car cleaner than it is now.
I see some remainder of bird poo and
there's a few things on here.
Yeah.
So let me fire up the foam cannon.
Yep.
See if we get some soap out of this.
Oh wow.
Not bad actually.
Not bad at all. Smells like oranges.
Yep.
Smells pretty nice. So Ivan, the foam rinse, foam wash method, we've spoken about this many times
Yep.
on our separate channels, but the whole purpose is, again, to minimize the risks of any swirling or scratching during the contact. You want to remove as much of the grit,
Right.
for the initial pre-wash.
So what we're doing now, we're removing the grit. And unlike a good automotive soap, even though we have thick foam, it's really falling off the car quickly.
Yes.
It's not
It's not clinging.
It's not
Yeah.
clinging like we would expect it to, but nonetheless, it's doing
Yeah,
something.
it seems to be flopping here and pulling a little bit of that dirt
Yeah.
into the foam. So, okay.
Yeah, and our friend Rick would have a lot of fun with this one with his
Rad Garage.
yeah, with the reverse foam technique here.
Yes.
But we actually got a fairly thick foam out of it.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I only used, 300 milliliters. So, yeah,
That's quite a bit.
compared to our 30 milliliters normally. But yeah,
Usually,
yeah. So it's falling off the vehicle quickly.
yes.
Something we're not used to seeing. We're
Yeah.
not used to doing. Let's rinse it off.
And we'll see what kind of job it does for the initial pre-wash.
Yeah, while it's sitting for the last couple seconds, let's
Yes.
get the wash mitt.
So do you want a measuring cup? Like how many ounces do you think you're going to put in that
No, no.
bucket?
Old school.
Old school. So we got about 3-4 gallons of water in there.
Yeah, I put about an ounce. We'll see if it. We're getting some sudsing there.
I'll activate it with the wand. Get that nice and foamy.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Not bad. Not
There
bad
we
at
go.
all. Yeah.
So here's the gun.
Yep.
All right. Time to see what kind of a pre-wash we're getting here. So even without a wheel and tire cleaner, it's actually doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Now, Pan,
Yep.
we're going very old school.
Okay.
I'm going to need a small measuring cup, please.
A small measuring cup.
Yep.
3 ounces, is that good?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems to have done a bit of job. There's still a little bit of bug guts left, but overall, for a pre-wash, it smells like I'm cleaning dishes in the garage now. But we saw the runoff with the dirt, so not bad, not bad. So what kind of a chemical concoction are we doing here?
So before we had dedicated tire cleaners,
Coca-Cola,
not just Coke.
Coke Zero.
Well, yeah, the Coke Zero, I'm not sure about. Back in the day, this didn't exist,
Yeah.
but it was a mixture of Coke, water, and soap.
What?
And you'll notice the Coke agitates the soap.
Yes.
And this is what we actually use as our tire cleaner.
Okay.
So it actually does help break down a bit of brake dust.
Okay.
So we're going to apply this before I put the foam on
Okay.
to
Let it dwell.
let it
Yeah.
dwell a little bit. So we'll just get everything stirred up here.
That looks like a brown, disgusting mess. Now that is supposed to clean the tires?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll use a high-tech applicator here.
Oh, even a wheel cleaner. So it's a wheel and tire cleaner.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any sticky, messy residue left over? That
No.
would be my
No, well,
worry.
Coke Zero actually it isn't a sticky residue like regular Coke. So this might
Oh, yeah.
actually be a good improvement
Yeah.
over the old technique.
So it's slightly acidic, normally Coke, right?
Yeah, slightly acidic. It's more acidic than most wheel acids.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a pH of 2 or
Yeah.
2.3.
That's pretty low on that pH
Yeah.
scale.
Detailers put too much weight into the pH scale. It's
Yeah.
not as important as people think it is.
Correct. Yeah, the formulation is more important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're seeing some foaming action. And what's the reason for putting the surfactant in there with the Coke itself?
Lubrication.
Okay.
And that's the way it was done back in the 70s. So we'll continue on with that.
Okay, I wasn't even born then, so that's pretty awesome to see what was going on back then. Microfiber towels didn't even exist. I think they started somewhere in the 80s, probably 90s.
Yeah. So we would have used a
Cotton terry cloth.
yeah, maybe even a good, for drying it off, the bath towel that you wouldn't use for a bath towel anymore because
yeah.
it was too scratchy on
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that's what we would use. And you'll notice the microfiber isn't even dirty.
No.
If you drive a Chevy Bolt, can you explain to me why there's a lot more brake dust on the rear wheels than the front wheels? We're used to seeing it on the front wheels.
Absolutely.
On a internal combustion engine car.
Yes. So now we're ready to foam again?
Yep.
All right, quick foaming. So at this stage, we're adding this second layer,
just
more
for
lubrication.
lubrication and dwell time.
Yeah.
So I'm
Gonna
going
let
to
the product react on the wheels and tires.
yeah, and I'm going to finish washing with that front bumper to let those bugs dwell the longest time possible.
Yeah.
Once we're done, we'll clean out the foam cannon with some water, make sure that everything is good there. And now the wash mitt.
Yes. So I'm still curious because listen, guys, we haven't seen this yet, right? The pledge in action. This is like beyond old school. So that'll be a fun one. We're
Yep.
going to see the end results is what's going to determine if this was worthwhile or not, and if Ivan actually completed the challenge.
Right, and we have behind the camera Sylvie as normal, and she's actually going to be the judge. So we have good slickness, and we're picking some dirt up off the surface, so that's good.
So you're still doing the traditional top to down method. Back in the day, of course, you didn't have two bucket methods or whatever they're using today. Were you guys still doing the top to bottom, or is that something people realized over time that it's important to not cross-contaminate with the lower parts kind of thing, where the dirtiest is?
No, that's always been a staple.
Okay. So practices were always good.
Yeah, now, speaking of which, I'm not going to go all the way down. Normally, I would go all the way down, but I just saw that this is not releasing the dirt off of it. Something that a good wash media does. So I'll leave those lowers for later.
Okay.
And you can see all the
Yeah, that it's holding on to the dirt.
The dirt that we pulled off. Let's give it a dunk.
So drop comments, guys, in the comment section if you've done things like this in the past or when you were younger. We're starting. The whole purpose of detailing videos, by the way, is we share the knowledge, the passion, the tutorials, all this stuff. So we learn these techniques, right? You're not born with all the knowledge in the world. So you try to learn things as you go. And of course, if you're watching this video, it means you're passionate about wanting to keep your car clean and protected and all that good stuff. So you start with the basics and then you move on to other techniques, other products, other methods.
Yeah. And, detailing, to me, the most important part of detailing is enjoying yourself.
Yeah. Well, I've certainly had a few laughs up to now.
Wait till you try the pledge pen. Now, be told, I probably haven't used pledge on a car since 1981.
Yeah.
Or 82 at the latest.
Yeah.
So the formulation may have changed over all those years.
Okay. So other than the slickness, that's pretty much what pledge was doing, no?
It actually fills.
Okay. So it'll give kind of a filling capability to mask a little bit of those light swirls and scratches kind of thing?
Yeah, it gives very much a waxy look.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm going to leave the rocker panels till a little later.
So it does dry off a little quicker than we would with the automotive shampoos?
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing this in direct sunlight.
No, for sure.
Your dishes you normally don't do in direct sunlight.
That's right.
Unless you're out camping, but even then.
Yeah, and this is in a controlled environment, and yeah, it's already pretty much dry on this side. So we'll see if it leaves any streaking.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it will.
There's always a worry that dishwashing liquid, because a lot of people still use that to clean their cars. We try to educate people to use automotive grade products, but there's that classic thing of it can strip waxes. So what I've seen in testing is that freshly applied waxes and sealants, even a dishwashing liquid will not strip. Of course, if you continuously use it, it will eventually degrade it. But usually it's more on like the old days or the last days of your existing carnauba wax kind of thing. But on ceramic protection, this should not put a dent in it, right?
Right, and it won't. So no dish soap has ever stripped a wax.
Mm-hmm.
We have the impression that it's stripping the wax because it has a sheeting action built in. One of the chemicals that it has is to prevent beading. You don't want beading on your nice crystalware.
Yes.
So they have an action in there. And if you remember back to the commercials before Dawn was cleaning ducks, their tagline was with sheeting action.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Correct.
So we're hiding.
So it's probably altering the surface with some kind of film or residue there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you went to a high-end car wash in the day, the hand car washes, they would always offer you, for an additional cost, to use a fresh, brand new wash mitt on your car.
Yes.
This is why.
Look at that. Look at I would not do that to my car.
Oh, there we have a wing.
Yeah.
And when we soak this in the wash bucket.
And that's despite having a grit guard in the bottom there.
Yeah, so let me rub it against the grit guard a couple times. Yeah, no better.
Yeah, it's still holding on to a little too much there.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get what you pay for.
Right, so this will be going in Pan's museum. So we'll rinse this off and see what we're left with. Now, another old school thing is rinsing from the bottom up. And the reason we did that is we used very caustic chemicals, acids, very high caustics, because we didn't have clay bars back then. So the only way to decontaminate was to use those very caustic materials. That's why we rinsed from the bottom up. And using a dish soap, I had the reflex of rinsing from the bottom up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to rinse from the top down.
Okay.
But that's why it was done, and that's why it's not necessary today.
Okay.
With good automotive chemicals. Now, it definitely does not rinse away clean like we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
It's just, you need to rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse.
Yes. So hopefully they can see this on camera, but you're right. So when we talk about in videos, it rinses freely. When you hear us talking about a shampoo, rinses quickly, freely. That's because the shampoo, well, it rinses off and there's nothing left here. Ivan just rinsed this and it continuously foams, and whatever's left off, it refoams, right? So you got to be very thorough when you're using dishwashing liquid.
And this would actually be better rinsed off with a garden hose than with a pressure washer.
Yeah.
Because the agitation of the pressure washer isn't helping us in this case.
Reactivates, correct. So where are we, Ivan? What are we doing now?
We finished rinsing. We took a few minutes to squeegee the floor because, let's just say with this soap, it was a little slippery down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got these beautiful 230 GSM 8713 blend
microfiber towels.
Microfibers. And the way they were folded in the package made them look nice and fluffy, but when you look at the other side, not so much.
Yeah.
But let's see if these can dry. Not bad.
I do have the DIY detail drying blanket if you want that, because you're allowed to have that.
Oh, well, yeah, in that case, yes.
You want it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because all this did was move the water around.
Now, this is a proper drying towel.
Oh, that's better. Okay. So the drying aspect will be relatively quick. Now, normally we use a drying aid. And back in the day, drying aids didn't exist. We didn't know what they were. I'm actually going to try the Pledge as a drying aid.
Okay.
Let's see if it works.
Okay.
But I'm not potentially going to ruin the drying blanket there.
So a light mist.
Seems to be doing something.
Yeah.
Smells nice.
Yep.
Got that traditional lemon Pledge smell.
I cannot believe we're doing this. So we saw that there's still, this is where we see the power of automotive products. There's still a lot of bugs and bug guts despite our best efforts with the dishwashing liquid. So there's a limit to what it can do.
Now, some of them might have been etched there for a little while.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll need another towel.
A fresh one.
Oh, we have some slickness there.
We can see there's that overspray on the other half.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep a bit of smearing, smudging, but yeah, it's a little slicker, but we still, that squeaking sound. So it's not like a drying aid or quick detailer that we'd actually use in the automotive world, but it's doing something.
Now, before drying the car, let's just get a little more water and throw it on here and see if it actually beads.
Okay.
And you'll notice I'm biding my time a little bit, letting the water dry a little bit on the surface because it's very tenacious. It's on there. There was no beading on this vehicle at all. Sylvia and I drove it through the rain earlier today. And
if there's any hydrophobics that Pledge gives. Okay. These are not super round, super tight, very oblong, irregular kind of water droplets, but there's definitely some hydrophobic properties.
And you can see where we got the overspray, there's a bit of hydrophobics, but much better on this side.
Correct.
So, Pledge for the win.
Okay, so there are some hydrophobic properties.
Not much, but they're there. Now let's see if it dries easier. Yeah?
I think so, yeah, because the evaporation is much better now.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, the towel drags on this side, whereas it just glided across the surface on it.
So you didn't apply anything here?
No.
Well, yeah, this is immediately grabby. This is a little better. We
Yeah.
can still hear the squeaking, but much better than this. There's nothing.
Yeah.
This a little bit.
It's not a good sealant. We'll put it that way.
No, no. This is not something that will give you 3+ months of protection there.
No. 3+ days, maybe
Yeah, until your next wash.
a week.
Ugh.
But you know, Pledge was used a lot as a waterless wash at car shows. That was its sort of
Yeah.
a strong suit.
Yeah.
And also for used car dealers, when someone was coming to look at the car, let's get out and put some Pledge on it.
Yes, removes finger marks, 2 smudges when people look into windows or touch the car. I had given some advice. I remember being, if you guys haven't seen it, the New York Auto Show. I did a video. So we were visiting New York, went to the auto show,
Yeah.
and there was a guy there using some chemicals. He recognized me. So he's like, oh, you're that guy, Pan the Organizer. So as I was talking to him, he was asking for some advice because they had hired him. And of course, they gave him Pledge, right, to do the vehicles as they always do or often do in car shows.
Yeah.
And he asked me, is there anything simple that I can have with me? I told him, yeah, a rinseless wash.
Yeah.
1 to 256 in a spray bottle. It'll do everything. It'll lightly clean. It'll it'll remove some of those fingerprints, those smudges, make the surface nice again, and add enough lubrication on the surface when you're not doing some marring. So a good quality towel, a rinseless wash, and a lot can be accomplished with that.
Yeah. Now, when you did the video with Eddie,
Yes,
one of the products you purchased was a glass cleaner.
correct.
To me, that was a waste of your budget just a little bit.
Okay.
Because when you wash properly on the
Yes.
outside, you don't need a glass cleaner.
Yes.
But Pledge actually makes a really good glass cleaner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see that.
I'd like you to try this towel. You probably have never felt the surface so,
So not slick.
yeah.
Yeah. Super grabby. Oh, like there's force, there's resistance to it.
Yep.
That's why it's important to use something when you're drying, at least a quick detailer or a drying aid.
Yeah.
It makes the process better. Plus, it gives you the gloss, the slickness, those hydrophobics.
But definitely the
Yeah,
safety
this-
in drying because
Oh, yeah.
we're literally,
There's no lubrication there.
no.
Yeah. Well, we know that we degreased the surface, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's so squeaky, like my fingers can't even slide on the surface now.
And just like traditional car wash soaps, the mirror will drip for days.
Oh, and for those wondering why, to speed things up, we're not using a car dryer, I want to mention that blown air from a car dryer or leaf blower only works well and is efficient if you already have some protection. You need the hydrophobic properties for that airspeed to flush the water due to the hydrophobics. If you don't have any protection like here and the water is just sheeting on there, believe it or not, it's actually better to use a microfiber drying towel with a drying aid because the water sticks so much that it'll take forever if you're using blown air to dry the vehicle. So that's a quick pro tip.
Yeah, forever. And the other part of that is you're actually evaporating the liquid off the surface. You're not blowing it off,
Yes,
leaving behind minerals if your
potentially
water.
spotting.
Yeah,
Correct.
because we didn't use spot-free water to rinse this.
Yep.
We went old school, so straight from the hose.
Yep. Yeah, and this is a small car. Imagine, and it's the real struggle of drying this. Imagine on a bigger vehicle. Not
So-
fun.
When I was growing up, the household car in my family was usually a full-size station wagon.
Okay.
Of the Oldsmobile or Mercury variety, it varied from one year to the other.
Yeah.
My father basically bought a new car every year because back then the warranties were 12 months and he never
Okay.
wanted to be in a car without a warranty.
Okay.
So every September we'd go car shopping for a couple days and then come back.
So you get the new model.
Yeah.
Were they the cars with the wood cladding type thing on the side there?
The 72 Mercury had the wood cladding and I think the 75 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser had the,
Had that too.
yeah. The other ones were just straight paint.
Well, so far your challenge is going pretty well, I'd say, because it's surprising. I'm looking at the wheels, even these guys, not bad at all. This is very grabby, but this is a clean surface, that's for sure. I'm not seeing any residual dirt there.
The drying is not what I remember as a kid. Maybe the old bath towel was a good thing back then.
Yeah, yeah, because this removes a little bit of the fun from detailing and washing your car. So there are instances where, yeah, spending just a little more, getting the right tools to do the job,
Yeah.
make you more efficient, make it more fun, pleasant.
Yeah,
So if it feels like a chore, there's something either you're doing wrong,
Yeah.
or maybe it's a car detailing is not for you.
But we have some shine.
Yes, yeah,
It's a clean car. The wheels actually don't look bad.
definitely.
So I'm not going to dry the wheels with this because I know they're not perfectly clean.
Yeah.
We'll use one of our new disposable towels there. And now to apply the pledge.
Okay.
So let's use a Another one of these lovely low GSM.
So now I understand why you said you're probably not going to link the products in the
No.
description under the video.
So a little bit of pledge. So it actually works
Yeah,
well.
nice evaporation rate. And
Yeah.
this feels slick, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a light mist, which is something you're always sharing, is use less. Less is more.
Yeah.
If the product you're using is good, you don't need a ton of it. And it actually, like from this angle, if I'm looking at the panel, it does just a slight pop of that gloss.
Actually, on the mirror here, it made a nice difference.
Yeah, on a black glossy surface.
See what it does on this. This plastic B pillar here is looking a little worse for wear.
And you might as well do it on the glass too if you say you can
Yeah.
apply it on the glass. Boom.
So people that complain that their towels lint, this is a great example. This window is so contaminated
yep.
that it's actually ripping the towel apart.
Yes. And we can feel it when you're passing your fingers
Yeah.
over there. Yep. Because glass too, by the way, has texture, right? Hills and valleys, just like paintwork. And you can clay glass as well because there's
Yeah.
embedded contamination that accumulates over time.
And this one definitely needs it. So the drying blanket didn't do this.
Yeah,
It left it nice and clean.
correct.
Cheap towels, hey, this is what happens.
Yeah. So are you having fun?
Actually, it's
Fun is a big word, eh?
yeah.
In this case.
But after you've gone over it, you can feel the slickness. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Not grabby anymore compared to like here. Here it's like instant.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to stay away from the windows because we saw what happened there.
Hey, Pledge, if you want to sponsor this video or do something in the future, give us a shout out. We're giving a lot of exposure here.
Yeah,
multi-use, multi-purpose.
Yeah, no, this is not a sponsored video in any
No.
way, shape, or form.
No.
And we are trained professionals. Do not try this at home.
Or try at your own risk. We are not responsible for the results that you'll get.
Yeah, we have a bit of a shine.
It's in a much better state
Yeah,
than
and
it came in.
there's
That's for sure.
scratches here. And one of the superpowers of Pledge is on your furniture filling the scratches. So I don't know if we can catch these on camera here.
Let me bring an inspection light. Maybe that'll help to see if it does any filling for real. So are you talking about this
Yeah.
one?
We got a nice straight line scratch there.
There's some hazing too here or some swirl scratches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see
If there's anything.
if there's any magic to this Pledge stuff. It's actually dulled it down a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
We still obviously see it.
Yeah.
But here is where I'm actually impressed. This was swirled up and
Yeah.
this is not bad. Yeah, seems to be some filling agents in there.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So Pledge
Hey,
might,
free
might have its
paint
place
correction.
after all.
Or masking. Well, glazes, right? A lot of people are confused at what glazes do. They have filling and masking agents, so you're not truly correcting, you're just filling and temporarily masking the defects instead of correcting them. So that's probably what this is doing visually. Because I can see the 50-50 here, like where you didn't apply it on the rear wing. And here, there is a slight improvement. That's not bad.
Yeah, we're not going to make it perfect.
No, this is
obviously.
not a show car, definitely.
This is a construction worker's daily driver. So we're not giving it back to him with Pledge. Don't worry, we're not doing that to this poor guy. So even sprayed and allowed to dwell for a minute or two, it did the job.
Your wife Sylvia is going to be the judge.
Yeah.
And we'll see if it's deserving of a trophy at a car show for the cleanest car at the show.
No. It might be clean enough to get into the show.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yep. Well, if there's one thing I learned other than there are possibilities of getting a clean car is if you guys want to have a laugh and have fun, either with your kids or family members or your friends or whoever it may be, like pull this little stunt out for a few bucks.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably enjoy even more the detailing products that you have in your arsenal. And then you can show them, maybe do a 50-50, right? Half a vehicle done with like the Pledge, the Coke, and the Palmolive or the whatever dishwashing liquid you want. And then the other half with a proper car shampoo, a proper quick detailer or drying aid, a proper wheel and tire cleaner or an all-purpose cleaner. Yeah. And then show the differences. And I think they'll sell themselves the products. So were people actually using Coke as a tire dressing back in the day? Are you serious?
They still use it today.
Wow.
For car shows, it won't give a glazed donut look.
Okay.
But it'll give a nice...
It darkens the...
Yeah, this car definitely needs decontamination. It's ripping this towel to shreds. Now, some people used Pledge like we would use a waterless wash too.
Yeah.
Not something I would do.
So Ivan, we're done drying the vehicle.
Yep.
What kind of steps? I think you said you wanted to dress the tires.
Yeah, so we have the tire dressing, and just to prove to you that this is actually not a...
Something else you're drinking. Okay. We're going to be using...
So-
I can't. Oh.
Now, for the people that couldn't afford Coca-Cola back then, they would just use sugar water.
Okay.
Now, this is Coke Zero. There's no sugar in it.
Yeah.
So I'm not guaranteeing the results here.
Okay. So he's giving us a warning. We can see it fizzing.
Yeah.
So you can hydrate yourself and dress your tires. That's a multi-purpose use.
Well, I wouldn't say that Coke is hydrating you.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now, guys. What are we doing? By the way, I also want to take the time. We're in June of 2025. I want to congratulate Ivan and Sylvia, and of course the partner Nick. They've celebrated 3 years of DIY detail. So congrats to you guys. Testament that they're here to stay, doing some good stuff, educating people as well, and some great chemicals in the detailing industry.
Oh, thank you, Pan.
So we're not seeing that glazed donut look. It just looks like a dressed tire. Now, if it dries like that and it stays like that, it's actually decent looking.
So if it, you know, the Coke that had sugar in it, that's what it would stay like. So we're seeing if artificial sweeteners are as good as regular sweeteners when it comes to dressing tires.
That's product testing and development, guys.
There you go.
Can you imagine I come out with a Clean by Pan, the organizer, Coke-based tire dressing? People ask, is it water-based? Is it solvent-based? It's actually Coca-Cola-based.
Yeah, no, not going to happen.
Shout out to my friend Fab. He'd be using cherry cola, right?
Cherry Pepsi.
Cherry Pepsi.
Yeah,
Yes,
Pepsi,
that's right.
yes.
So we're getting some nice B-roll shots of the tires there. Man, isn't this fun for real though? The laughs we had, but just spending time testing and seeing, like, are we busting any myths for you guys? Did you guys expect this kind of stuff? Did you guys try it? Let us know in the comments. I'd be curious. Or what other myths or stuff that was used old school? Like, remember the newspaper on glass? So a lot of people were using that as the towel to have no linting and to get crystal clear glass.
Well, let me bust that myth.
Yep.
Back when we had solvent-based inks,
Yes.
that was actually very good.
Okay.
But with vinegar.
Yes.
Now their soy-based inks doesn't work.
Forget it. Okay.
So you have to find some really old newsprint for that to work.
Yes. And then you had the classic use a toothpaste to polish your headlights.
Yeah.
Because there is a bit of abrasives in there. You'll use a lot of elbow grease, but yeah, there's so many like DIY hacks.
Yeah, DEET on your headlights as well.
Yes.
Restoring your plastics with a blowtorch.
Yep.
That's
to
a
bring
great
those
way of
oils up.
destroying your plastics.
Absolutely. It'll work for that day, right?
Yeah.
But after that, because you're pulling all the oils and you're bringing them back to the surface, but you're also probably accelerating the degradation.
Yep.
So
there we go.
We're done?
We're done.
That is beautiful. So let's have the judge come in and see. Sylvie, what do you think? You tell us, like, you've seen all the steps now.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I was not expecting this, by the way.
Oh.
So how does it feel? Not too bad?
Not too bad. Look good.
It does, yeah?
Yeah. You have a lot of shine. And
See here, we can tell the linting on the glass.
Yeah,
There's so much
that's-
contamination.
yeah.
That Coke on the tires, if it stays like that, the look is actually half decent.
Yeah. It's perfect.
So would you recommend that people do this at home, or should we stick with
No.
DIY detail, clean by pan products?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
But no, I have to say, like, I was not expecting this. I thought it would be a total disaster, but no. Like, if you're in a pinch, if you're somewhere you don't have access to detailing chemicals, products, tools, all that stuff, can you do something? Yes. Can you have more fun and performance with proper? Actually, let me ask you this. So if people are looking out there and they're seeing, okay, they cleaned the car, they did a half decent job.
Yeah.
It cost them less than 30, how much do we say? Less than 50 Canadian dollars?
Yeah, it was 31 Canadian.
31 Canadian, so like 20 something dollars US. What's the advantage you would say of having more, not necessarily all pro grade, because you can buy some consumer grade stuff as well.
Right.
But what are the advantages of having proper detailing chemicals when you're doing detailing work?
First of all, you'll use less product. To get the foam that we're used to, we had a little more than we normally would.
A lot.
The mitt was no, don't even go there. So having a better quality sponge or mitt, that would help a lot.
Yeah.
The other aspects of it is, yes, we have a result.
Mhm.
How long lasting is that result?
Yeah.
How's it going to look a day from now,
Yes.
or 3 days from now, or a week from now? I'm predicting it's going to be attracting dirt.
Absolutely.
But that being said, can you have fun? Yes. Can you get the job done? Yes. Is it easy? Actually, no. in the sense that it was, the towel dragging, the inability to rinse off, or
The user experience is not the best.
the user experience isn't there.
Yep.
Which is something that we're used to. I've been using dedicated detailing chemicals for over 45 years.
Yeah.
When I started washing cars with my father, of course, we use soap, we use Pledge, we used all that stuff. Now, the Pledge for us was a top-up. We got paste wax every 3 months and Pledge at every wash.
Okay.
So, and from my experience, from what I remember, the Pledge actually seems to work like it did back in the day.
Okay.
So
basically, the same as today, you were topping off the existing protection, just with different technology that you guys had back then.
Yeah.
Makes sense. If by the way, if you guys want to see this kind of challenge, right, for like $50 or somewhere around that, I'll leave the video linked where I did one with Eddie with actual detailing chemicals at an inexpensive price.
Right.
And then you can see if that's a step up. And then if you want to go to the ultimate, that's when you DIY detail, Clean by Pan, the organizer. Check our brands out. We're very passionate about what we do and the knowledge that we share out there. Subscribe to the DIY channel. If you haven't subscribed to Clean by Pan, go ahead and do it. We have tons of content out there. And if there's something you guys want to see us do in the future, let us know. Drop a comment. What kind of videos would you like me and Yvan to do? I know you guys love when we do these collabs. So yeah, we appreciate you. Is there anything you want to end with saying?
No, just enjoy detailing.
Have fun. That's right. Absolutely.
That's why we're here. That's why we like sharing with all of you. And if you have comments, questions, leave them below. We're always there to answer.
Absolutely. In the meantime, keep it tight, keep it clean, and we'll see you on the next one.